They're practical, they're stoic, hands-on, they like sports, they like cars, they like drinking.
Swan dries, flannel, gumboots, all that kind of stuff doesn't really, talk about emotions at all.
They're kind of preserving everything that you think of when you think of masculinity.
Hi, I'm Liam Fittis. I'm 24 years old.
My name is Sean. I'm a 20-year-old student here in Wellington.
Hi, my name is Felix. I'm 19 and I'm currently doing the screen production diploma at SAE in Auckland.
Yeah, overall, my high school experience wasn't necessarily a bad one. Not at all because of, sexuality or anything like that. Looking back, there definitely were a couple of kind of interesting things with it, per se. Just around, say, in a football context, for example, jokes in changing rooms and everything about, don't look, or, don't get flattered, or, don't go for me kind of thing.
I grew up without a lot of positive male role models. My dad is very much your typical Kiwi bloke. He's an upholsterer, so he's just a tradie, and his mates are tradies. And I've never really been that sort of guy. But I very naturally found myself just being very comfortable with femininity and just people of other sexualities, even though my mum and everyone else would be the definition of gay panic.
We're, in some respects, also raising our children to have concepts and ideas as to what a male's supposed to be. This can be problematic, and obviously in many ways, because where you might be teaching people in a way what you really are isn't okay, or that you should try to be certain things. Good morning, I'm Scott Henry. I am presently a school guidance counselor at Hauraki Plains College, finishing up my 5th year here.
There was this huge fear that I had growing up of being perceived as feminine. When I first got into high school, I kind of filled that role as people's gay best friend because I was that sort of effeminate guy and I got along with the girls really well. And then I decided that I didn't like people thinking I was gay. Being somebody who was a little bit overweight, a lot depressed, and somebody who was kind of working his way around his sexuality and his mental health. High school it wasn't difficult, it felt very lonely.
We were brought up in a Christian household. My mum is Christian Baptist, so we grew up, we went to the church just up the road. When I reached 20, I was dating this girl and it was quite serious, and she needed to move out of home, and I was pretty ready to finally get out of home. So we chose to move in together, and then that meant I had to finally front up to my mum and be like, hey, I don't actually sort of believe these things as much as you want me to, or I don't know how I feel about it all. I'm gonna choose to live my life a different way.
A lot of the things that I dealt with during high school were not things that I'd have ever brought up to my friends. They're not things I would have ever brought up to my family. They're not things that I would probably have brought up this year, maybe until now. I wouldn't have even bothered discussing these things because I didn't think they were worthwhile, and I didn't think they would be met with anything but disapproval. And I suppose that was something I felt like I needed.
So are we progressing? Well, things are being talked about a lot, but the actual concept of what an ideal man is doesn't seem to be shifting very much.
There was that kind of element of isolation in terms of isolation from support systems, and the ability to access them is greatly diminished.
Eventually, most people will start challenging some of those ideas.
You don't have anyone to kind of look up to or anyone to kind of like model off. I think there was one other out gay guy at the school when I came out, Tristan, but even then he had only come out about 6 months or so earlier compared to me, and so I had nothing to really model off or base it. I was going into unknown, uncharted territory, which was frankly terrifying.
Properly polyamorous, so we practice ethical non-monogamy. We date other people casually, but also at a more serious level. With being poly, it's also helped me to really get in touch with myself and who I am as a person and as an individual.
It was just a lot of perseverance a lot of the time, and in terms of the personal challenges around actually just coming out and kind of, steeling myself for possible negative outcomes associated with that, there was just a lot of kind of like self-resilience that needed fostering. Resilience and kind of like, self-assurance.
Societal, cultural changes tend to be slow. Today's technology and such offers possibilities for it to happen much quicker than it used to in the past.
There's always someone to talk to. Whether it's a professional or not, it's important to get that out there.
Especially in New Zealand, it's a very restrictive view on men, like telling you to be, to toughen up, and it's very frowned upon to be open with your emotions and stuff, and there's just certain things that guys don't do, or guys shouldn't wear, or you can't be or do this, or...
People do exist. You have friends that can, that can be there for you, and seek comfort in the ones that are closest to you.
My advice to anybody who feels like they are living a double life or feel like they're trapped underneath an idea of what they should be that conflicts with who they really are, it's just that there isn't one set way for anyone to be.
Don't fucking let people get you down. Find the people who are going to actually, give you or love you for who you are.